obviously had a good test at Mallala last week. Got a lot of good information there. How do you think that's going to sort of translate to Clipsal, given you've sort of been there once? How's it the setup been? Because it's very hard to compare Mallala to Clipsal, where you've got a lot of curves you've got to jump over just to get the lap time.
Yeah.
How's that sort of been working out?
Yeah, look, Mallala is obviously a permanent road circuit. It doesn't have a lot of the character that Adelaide has. But in terms of for what we're trying to get out of it, for us it was a shakedown. For us it was changing setup in the cars to see how the car would respond.
Yeah.
So the processes we've got in place of learning to make this car go fast, Mallala's perfect for that.
Yeah.
So when we arrive in Adelaide, we can, well, not in Adelaide, but at the street circuit, we can make changes to how the car feels and know that we're going in the right direction.
You were there 2010 for Clipsal in the V8 Utes, and the early part of the weekend was a little bit of a struggle, but you got there in the end because the rain came and you had a stormy drive almost from the back to the 11th, I think you ended up. Was the final.
Yeah, we finished in the top 10.
Oh, it wasn't the top 10,
It was a real, probably one of the most gruelling weekends of my motor racing career, nearly.
Yeah.
And we were dealing with personal issues that were leading up to the event. We had sponsors saying yes, then no, then maybe, and a commitment had to be made. And I was lucky through my family and friends who have also helped out investing in my career that they helped to make it happen. And so it was really, we couldn't have really been any further behind the 8 ball going into that weekend. It was either the case of watching it on TV or to be out there having a go. And anyone that knows me, I'd rather be out there having a go. So we started in pit lane for race 1, and we worked our way through the weekend to, I guess, making the car faster, understanding the car, and dealing with the situations that we had to finish 10th in the final race on Sunday. And in rain conditions that were starting to get torrential as well, and I love the rain. I love competing when it's slippery, and that will just come from my background with competing in Europe, where rain is part of your everyday life over there when you're competing through all the different circuits and different times of the year.
Because it was almost the same story in Formula 4 when you won the AGP support race there. You're coming from the back. It must be just something about that place and you, or you just gels.
I love Adelaide. I love that street circuit, and the Grand Prix circuit was fantastic back in the day, and that's where most of my success came from. I raced in the Clipsal 500 in the main game in the V8 supercars. That was probably the most gruelling race I've ever done in my life. Dealing with 50-degree temperatures in the car and competing for 2 hours, dealing with the fumes. And back in those days we didn't have cool suits and air intakes for helmets. It was rough it out. So it has a bit of a personal soft spot, and I'm glad to be starting the championship there, because I really feel that with our experience, with the knowledge, and being a street circuit, you can't make mistakes. If you make mistakes, you hit a wall. And obviously you can't live in that perfect world, but I think we're in good step to start the season off good.
Alright, well, one final question. I think it was last year, maybe 2 years ago, Craig Lowndes was actually asked in an interview who he, I guess, thought who was his toughest competitor. And probably a lot of people would have expected someone contemporary in V8 supercars might have been mentioned, and it was very sort of similar to the question that was asked Senna in the documentary. And he mentioned you. Does that make you the Terry Fullerton of V8 supercars?
Well, I'm quite humbled to be honest. I've been pretty lucky, I'm a pretty dedicated, motivated and determined person, and anybody that knows me would probably say that. And my whole life was to be trained to go to Formula One. And it's a dog-eat-dog world, and if you don't go out there and have a go, you won't potentially shine to the best of your ability.
Yeah.
And with Craig, we grew up a little bit together in go-karting, and obviously we had the fight to the title in Formula Ford, and then I went overseas and continued on. So, you know, to have drivers say nice things like that, it's really honouring, and I say thank you, you know. And you know, it was exactly the same when I had the honour of being voted in the top 100 all-time Australian race car driver list, and Craig was a part of that, and also Mark Webber, and you know, there's very few drivers who have been able to go internationally and compete, and also get to the levels that we got to. I mean, I was lucky that I got to the last category to Formula One, and we had discussions with Formula One teams about a future there, and there's not many drivers who have gone past me. So, not to say that I'm the forgotten driver in the industry, but I've been very lucky to have competed basically all around the world in a variety of lots of different vehicles, and you know, this year it's V8 Utes, and so I'm looking forward to learning about how to make this production car go fast, because a lot of people talk about how difficult it is because it weighs 2 tonne. Even though we're on a radial type of slick groove tyre, it can only deal with so much force, and so I think it's all going to be about learning how to get the best out of the tyre to deal with the weight of the car. And so that's something I've never really had to embark on before, and looking forward to it.
It's going to be an exciting journey, mate. Glad to watch you and follow your progress during the year. Thanks a lot for joining us, mate.
No worries.
Good luck next week.
Thanks, Trent.